And as we're getting ready to jump in these hives, I got my camera set at about your eye level, because every conference that I go to, everyone always says to me, oh my gosh, you're so much taller than I thought you were. And that's because I always have my camera way up here with me at the 7-foot level. And anyway, I wanted to show you guys, you've been asking me a lot about this hat that I wear in the bee yard, and a lot of you have been like, where did you get the hat? I want one just like it. It is the coolest looking thing ever. I got tired of wearing a bee suit. I don't like the shape of the hat sometimes, and this one by far really fits me good. It's kind of stylish if you care about that, and it's just fun to wear in the bee yard. It's got little straps you can poke your arms through, and it doesn't cost hardly anything at all. I wear it over, you know, my bee jacket first, and I put this on. You know, I have a bee jacket and I unzip the other hat and use this hat. So it's got a lot of options. But anyway, I put cowboy up, get her done, cowboy up. And of course I got my EAS Certified Master Beekeeper pin that I earned mounted to the front of it there as well. So I like this hat. And yeah, I got a link in the description. And I like this little strap, because sometimes when you lean over a hive, your hat will fall off and fall into the hive, or fall down off your, you know, your face or something. So this is a hat that I enjoy. Bees are going crazy. Good to be with you today. And today we're going to open up this hive, take a look at what's going on, and we got a coffee time coming up afterwards. So stay tuned. Let's dive in. As we get started on the hive today, I always like to smoke the entrance. And if you notice today, I'm going to be working the hive without any gloves on. I like to do both. Sometimes I have to wear gloves because the hive is just a little more defensive and I don't want to get stung a lot. But sometimes the hive is busy and I can work barehanded. Some of you may be working on your Master Beekeeper certification with EAS. That's coming up here shortly, in a few weeks for me. I can't wait to go there. And on our website, we actually say that working a hive with gloves on is discouraged. If you have to do it, you know, you have to, but we like to see people work hives without their gloves on. Now, sometimes you can't. And working a hive without your gloves on means that you spend a little time making sure that you got a good quality, easy going queen, that all of her daughters, you know, are gentle. So that makes a difference too, right? I don't remember this hive. I like to open that lid away from me like this, and then I'm going to set it behind the hive so I can put a deep box there. And I checked briefly if there were small hive beetle on the lid. I didn't see any. So this is the hive that's doing really good. An important beekeeping tip I want to show you is, once you open the hive, if you just start looking between the frames, if you notice right there, look how that's capped over. Okay, and the next one is capped over. And if you just go across here, you see that all the way over here, you know, probably capped over too. So what we're going to see here is the middle section to be brood. As we get further over here, it will be honey capped over. This hive needs a super yesterday. So I like to teach also this. If you follow this seam right here between the hives, I want you to see if I can hold my microphone out of the way, but let's just glide through here. Look at how many bees are kind of looking up at us. Do you see that? That means you need to smoke the hive. It's not too bad. But if there's a lot of bees that aren't really doing anything but looking at you and wondering, like right there, look at that. Look at those bees looking at us. Do you see that? And that's time to smoke. So let's smoke them. And anytime you see brand new wax on the top of your frames like this, it means you're a little late getting another box on it. This has 2 deeps, so they're ready for a honey super. We're going to put a honey super on here when we're done. But we just want to see what the condition of this hive is, okay? All right. By the way, when you smoke a hive like this and you're done smoking, give your smoker a whole bunch of puffs to keep it going before you set it down. And of course, when you pick it up, give it a whole bunch of puffs. All right, let's pick up this frame right here against the wall, and we'll see what it looks like. See, well, this first frame will let us know their temperament as well. if we need to go get a bee suit on and some gloves, you know. All right. Boy, that is heavy. Heavy loaded with honey. I need to pull a little bit slower. And then I'm going to set it right here to re-grip it. Be careful not to smash any bees. All right. All right, good. It takes me a little longer to do my inspections because I'm filming and doing things like this, setting up scenes, but look at that frame of honey. Wow. And on the wall side, completely capped over. Look at that, almost, a little bit at the bottom. Yeah, that's a frame of honey. Look how all that wax is brand new. We're going to set it outside the hive. I like to set them on the side. I see some people setting frames on the front, leaning up against the entrance of the hive. I don't like to do that. And that's because I believe that it changes the appearance of the landing runway enough where bees are a little bit confused when they're coming in when they see a frame sitting there. On the side, it's where I can see it and I can watch it, and it's where the bees can't see it. Okay, so when we're inspecting a hive like this, these frames are extremely heavy. Get ready. A lot of you don't realize, if you're new to beekeeping, how heavy these frames are. Okay, the queen has laid a little bit of brood over here, and it's been drone brood. Look at that. Yep. So we're going to put that in the hive. That was not a queen cell I saw. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the wall, almost. I'm going to put it in a position where it stays when I'm done inspecting. Pick up my smoker, puff it a few times, puff across the top, calm the bees down, puff it a few times, set it down. I'm setting it down on top of another hive behind me. How you doing, friends? Thanks for joining me. If you don't know me, if this is your first time, I'm David Burns. I'm an EAS certified master beekeeper. I got certified in 2010 and been making videos here on YouTube since 2008. Long time ago. Wow. Look at that frame of brood, capped over pupae. Some are emerging. Good brood pattern. It's a lot of brood. Ow, forgot to take off my watch. And I got stung on my watch. Let me get that stinger out. And take my watch off. Let me just show you right quick. See right here? Let's see. Right at the tip there. Darn it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So scraping it out with my hive tool. Edge of my hive tool. There you go. I got it out. That hurt. So let's take this watch off. It makes a noise or something. Woo! That kind of woke me up a little bit. Wasn't expecting that. And what I like to do when I get stung like that, I will smoke the area right here. See that? I want to mask the alarm pheromone with my smoke. I don't know if that'll work, but I hope so. All right, let's see if we can get by with barehandedness without my Apple Watch on. You guys should remind me when I make a video and I have my watch on. Oh no, David, your watch. Take off your watch, you're going to get stung. Landy Simone is a good friend of mine out east, and we do a lot of bee work together at EAS and such, and she was the first one to tell me that, man, when she wears her watch, her Apple Watch, the bees don't like it. And I said, oh, I've never noticed my bees not liking my watch. But then she said it and jinxed it or something. Now they sting me when I wear a watch. All right, let's work a little slow motion here, a little slower. That's good. Alrighty. I'm just looking at all the different things that I might see on a beehive frame, like eggs, brood, larvae, and of course, let you find the queen here. Go. You have 5 seconds to find the queen. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1000. Did you find her? Okay, I'll circle her right now. And you'll say, oh, yeah, I see her. Okay. So the queen's in the top deep box, deep frame there. Now, a lot of times what you might consider doing is taking this frame and either caging the queen so that you don't harm her if you continue to manipulate your frames, or you can set this frame out with the queen on it. So what you're looking for when you do an inspection, and especially if it's a quick inspection, one that I like to do every 2 weeks, I'm looking for the queen and I'm looking for her brood pattern. And I will glance to see things like we've already looked, what's the condition of all the amount of brood, and what's the condition and the amount of resources. And so in this case, they have plenty of resources. And I'm not worried about the brood because I see the queen is here and she's, walking around. But I do want to, and I have seen a frame of cat brood. And so here's, another good frame of cat brood ready to emerge. You can see here. And we'll flip it over. This is heavy. Another whole frame of cat brood. And so we saw the queen. We see brood. It wouldn't hurt to see eggs. And to see eggs, we have to work a little bit further from the middle away from these cat brood frames. So let's see if we can find a frame of eggs. I don't really need to go to the bottom deep, thankfully. It's a very hot day today. This is the last day of June. Tomorrow's July 1st. Oh my gosh. It's time's going fast, isn't it? Hope you have some great 4th of July weekend plans. Don't forget, I got a coffee time coming up in just a minute or two here. So be sure to stay tuned. I want to encourage you guys. You can tell when you're going to get a frame of eggs on the weight when you start to pull it up. I have young larvae here that's about 4 days old. On this side, all nectar. Let's look at the next frame. Smoke between frames. If you're going gloveless and you have time to keep your, hive very calm. We're working in the shade. This spot over here is sunny all day until about 3:30 in the afternoon, and then the tree provides shade, and I like that. That's why I'm over here. What about small hive beetles? Well, it's not that much shade. It's still a lot of sun during the day. And beetles, I haven't had any beetle problems at all this year. It's been amazing. I had some big drones coming in for a landing today. An unsuccessful drone mating flight, or he wouldn't have come back. Again, another frame of brood capped over. Another frame of brood capped over. A lot of good brood today we're seeing. We don't have to see eggs. We're going to look at one or two more. Notice my technique of using the hive tool to separate the edges of the frame over here, going across slowly and twisting the hive tool, and then I'm ready to grip it with my fingers, get my bees off of my hands and out of the way, and then wiggle it a little bit and then pull it up. Slowly. Work in slow motion. Things will go much better. This is a wonderful frame of larvae. Probably has eggs on it. It's younger. It's kind of dark, I know, but look at that. Isn't that great? Okay, so let's go ahead and put a super on here, okay? We are working our way across these frames so we can drop the other honey frame toward that wall over there. But that's one option. Or what we can also do now is just scoot them all back. Since they're all pretty tight together, let's scoot them back. Let me show you how I do that. All right, so we can smoke the hive like this, and then we can scoot the frames since they're all close together already. And we're going to try to make room for the frame that we took out without having to shift each frame. And since they're tight together at the edges, we don't run the risk of injuring our queen. However, this very last two that meet over here, we have to make sure that we don't have bees in between that gap. We'll keep trying to work that closed. Now you can take your hive tool down in the hive and push the frames to close that gap over there. Do you see that technique? Don't dig into the comb, but you can push it like that. Now we have a large gap here, but we have a large frame to put in there. And I have a lot of bees around my face that are telling me that they don't appreciate me being in the hive anymore. Nice of them to tell me that, isn't it? Ooh, that's heavy. Okay, we'll let it slide down by itself there. And let's go get our super. My gosh, they're after me. Oh, that's an 8 frame on top? We don't care about an 8 frame. That's a 10 frame, but it's all damaged. Okay, here's our honey super. Before we put our honey super on, let's smoke the bees a little bit. We try to smoke them off the edges so we can minimize any bees that we may accidentally kill by putting boxes together. Yeah, we do a pretty good job getting them out of the way there. And then we have a honey super that we harvested last year, and it's a dry super, and it's already drawn out, and we're slapping that baby on. Woo! They're going to be ready to do some work up in here. Let's smash some frames together a little tighter here. They're a little off. Let me look. Yeah, a little bit here. I'm going to keep everything kind of tight if I can. Okay, that's good. Let's put the top on it. And this hive is in good shape. I'm not going to worry about a queen excluder because I don't use queen excluders. We'll come back and make sure the queen doesn't get up there in about a week. But for now, what we want to do is have some coffee time. Oh, it's fun to be with you guys for coffee time. Look at that. I got actually no coffee, but I got some water because I'm burning up. I had to change my shirt. I got so wet out there. So what I want to do today is just sit back and share a little bit, few minutes with you guys as I wipe the sweat off. I was working those bees out there at about 93 degrees. It was really hot, even though I was in the shade. But I love working bees, and I just can't stay out of a hive. It's amazing how much I love working bees. Even when I speak at a conference, I will hunt down if you have bees on the property, and I will want to get in those bees. If you invite me to speak at your conference, you probably should allow time for me to be in a hive. If you want to maybe give an opportunity for me to even do an inspection and show some of your club members or conference or whatever, something, I'd be glad, just rather than sit stand in front of a podium all day. I'd love to get into the hive once in a while. So I love that. But I want to talk to you guys today about friendship. And I know some of you probably have discovered new friends. Maybe you've made new friends because of beekeeping, or maybe you were at a place in your life where you used to have a lot of friends and now you're getting maybe more advanced in age, older, and you don't have as many friends as you used to. And maybe you feel a little bit lonely and kind of wish you had friends. I know there'll be some of you that enjoy having friends, and then there's going to be some of you who probably feel like friends are a hassle. You know, they're a lot of work. And I've had friends in the past that they took a lot of maintenance for me to, you know, keep them going. And if I didn't spend enough time with them, like excessive amount of time, then they felt like I wasn't doing my part of the friendship. And then I have other friends who I may only see once a month, once every 2 months. And we have that's a loud bird. And we have a great friendship, even though we don't see each other on a regular basis. I have some friends at the Eastern Apicultural Society. I go there once a year. I rarely see all of my friends there. Sometimes I see them at conferences, but once I see them once a year, it's like we just pick up where we left off. How important is it to have friends in our life? Well, one of my good friends is Dr. John Zavishlock. He and I met in 2009 at EAS, and we've been friends ever since. And we're both certified master beekeepers, and we both work with each other on a weekly basis, answering beekeeping questions or interacting with beekeeping stuff. And so he and I are very similar in our, I guess, approaches to beekeeping and life in general. And so it's fun to be around John. We talk, and he was here last week for almost a whole week. And we were working on a bee project. And so we had fun hanging out together, you know, talking about bees and other things. And it's really good to have a friend that you can share something that you're interested in. I will say that most of the friends that I've made in my life has been associated with some sort of activity. I have a couple of hobbies that I do, and as a result of that, I hang out a lot with people in those hobbies. And as a result, I always say, hey, you want to go grab a bite to eat after something is over here? You know, we're done with this. Let's go grab lunch, or let's go grab supper. My name's David. And so I've made a lot of friends that way. Now, they're not super close friends, but they're close enough where we can talk about that hobby and the things in the hobby, and we can have a good time together. I have made some very close friends that I've spent time with almost every day or every other day in my past. And I have actually held the hand of several friends as they died. And that was painful. You know, there's just, you know, there's a lot of different levels of friendships that we can have. But I think in beekeeping, it is fun to have friends because it's a time to share ideas. It's a time to share frustrations, and it's a time to get somebody else's opinion about something. And I feel like I'm your friend. And, you know, a lot of you see me on every 2 or 3 days when I make a video, you'll watch the video. Thank you for watching. And a lot of times you feel that, you know, you and me, we hang out together. We have a great friendship. I kind of wish we did, because when I go to a conference and I meet you, you know me and you know that side of the friendship, but I don't know the other side. And it's like, oh, I wish I knew you better. Anyway, I think it's really cool that friendships can be established through YouTube. And I want to say that I feel like we're friends. I really do. I see you on my live streams every Thursday night, 7 p.m. I see your name up there and we interact a bit there. I see you leaving comments. Some of you have been out to the apiary, my bee yard here, and worked bees with me. Some of you have actually traveled really far to be with me for a day or two. This year, I'm going to open it up to 3 more people, not at the same time, but individually. And so if you want to come, be my friend for the day, or you know, be together with me for a day. We'll remain friends after that. But I'd like for you to send an email to this email address right here. And you can say, yeah, I'd like to hang out with David in the bee yard for 1 day. it's probably going to be about 4 hours in the bee yard. And, you know, if you have to fly in, you can fly into Chicago and drive down, Indianapolis and drive down, Bloomington, Illinois, drive down. You can, it's about 2 to 3 hours to the East Airport. St. Louis, you can drive up from St. Louis. A lot of easy ways to fly in. Maybe you live in the area. But I'll look at the different things that you send me in the email. Tell me something about yourself. I'd prefer that you haven't been keeping bees very long. You know, 2 or 3 years tops. If you've been a beekeeper more than that, it's okay. But I'd like to help new beekeepers that quite haven't figured it out yet. But if you've kept bees a long time, you still want to come, you know, that's fine. I'm not going to be able to take everybody. Obviously, I'll probably get, you know, several responses. But I will pick 3 of you that that can come and just be my friend for the day. How about that? That'd be fun. And I think friendships are important. And we need somebody else to sometimes cry on their shoulder. We need somebody to celebrate and laugh with. I mean, it's frustrating to have a great victory in your life and not get to celebrate. Have you ever, you remember when we were kids, we'd get a Christmas present? The kind of the funnest part was showing it to your friends, showing it to your buddy, and look, oh my gosh, look what I got, right? And I remember one time we got a set of walkie-talkies. Well, what good are walkie-talkies if you don't have a friend? You know, and you get a bicycle. Okay, it's fun to ride a bike when I was a kid, but it's a lot more fun to ride bikes to the local grocery store with a friend and get a candy bar together. So friendship is fun. I'd like to hear what you're doing with your friends and kind of where you are in your friendship world. Leave a comment. Let me know how friendships are not working out for you. I will say, now that I'm a bit older, I have fewer friends than I used to. Some of that is that, you know, some of that is because my kids are grown and gone. We have Christian, he's 17, he's still at home, but, you know, I'm not interacting with PTA and 4-H and things that you naturally meet other parents at school or homeschool meetings or church and all those things. You know, my kids are grown like that. And so that reduces a lot of opportunities. So I know it gets a little harder to keep friends when you get older, but it is fun. Studies have shown that the more we interact and are social with other people, then that's better for us. And so if you haven't really gone out of your way to make friends, I know it can be entirely challenging if you're an introvert and you don't sometimes feel like you need friends. Sometimes you just need to make friends. Now, if you're not very good at, you know, your side of the friendship, I get it. I understand that. You can still interact and have friends, and you know, you might need to limit the amount of time that you spend with your friend because it may overwhelm you. My wife is that person. Sherry enjoys being around people for a very small amount of time. I'm not kidding you. My wife has never liked talking on the phone. And so when I call Sherry up on the phone to say, hey, how's it going? You know, we've been married for 1,000 years, and I know now that she just wants the facts and get off the phone. And I'm fine with that, right? We're not the kind of people that would just sit on the phone and chat for a long time. Some people like to do that. But you might have a friend that is like that. Sherry likes having friends, but, you know, what is that old saying that friends can be like fish? You know, they can only be around so long, and then you got to get rid of them. They start smelling. And so some people don't enjoy it. They get exhausted with a lot of friends and a lot of time with other people. They need time by themselves. I'm not that way. My life really is best when I'm around a large group of people and I interact with people. We laugh, we talk. I can do that until I fall asleep at night, until, you know, I can do it from the morning till the evening. Sometimes I go to conferences, and sometimes the conference directors will say, oh, David, you know, we hope you're not too overwhelmed by all the people that'll be talking to you all day long. You know, you have to present, talk, eat lunch, talk in the hallways, talk in the bathroom. And I'm always like, no, I love to talk. Look, I remember a comment somebody left on YouTube years ago. You know, everybody wants to leave, you know, a comment, and this one was kind of negative. And it said something like, "You just love to hear yourself talk." Well, I'm not sure I'd love to hear myself talk, but I get what you're saying. Some people are more comfortable saying a lot of words at one time. I'm that person. And I couldn't have a YouTube channel if I wasn't comfortable talking a lot, because YouTube is all about talking, right? And so, yeah, guilty as charged. I don't know if I love to hear myself talk. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't watch my own videos, but I do like talking and encouraging people. And how else are you going to encourage people and be a friend with people unless you share your life with them and talk with them? So coffee time today. And I want to tell you, I've made a ton of friends here on YouTube, and man, it is great. And I hope that the friendships that we've made here on YouTube, that wherever you live, that you can talk to your state or your clubs or something and invite me to be a part of, you know, your next club meeting or your conference or your state meeting or something. And we can squeeze out a meal together and hang out, because I see your loyalty to my website. That's fantastic. We're going to be offering all of our online classes at 50% off starting July the 4th. Just a one-day discount in celebration of July the 4th, coming up in just a few days. So if you've been waiting to tackle and get in, so if you've been waiting to do some online studying, I hope you'll look at my classes and purchase some online classes. That ultimate course is going to be the best one for you. Some of you have been keeping bees long enough this year that you know, hey, yeah, I need a little push. I guess I don't know everything I need to know. July the 4th, 50% off. Check that out. I'll leave a link right here. And if you want to watch a video where my good friend John Zavishlak and I opened a hive up together and looked through it together, I think you'll learn a lot. I want you to check that video out. I'll see you guys right over here.